You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Sports
Pelican Post-Game Show.
You're now listening to the Sports Comas Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q. And tonight's show will be covering the Pelicans' 117-111 loss to the Denver Nuggets. We'll give you that very distasteful recap with stats, facts, breakdowns, of course, as customarily we do. We also have some news to bring you on the Pelicans. Some few topics we want to talk over with you. DeMarcus Cousins' contract situation. Al Gentry, a lot of questions dealing with Al Gentry. He'll be in the interview. But as always, thank you for joining the Pelican Post-Game Report. Here's a round of applause to you. And also we'll bring in our comrade in PelicanEyesViews.com's key contributor, one of the contributors, DC. How you doing today, brother?
I don't know. I'm a little down and depressed about the Al gentrification going on in our city.
Oh, that's a good one. This is December the 18th, 2017. This podcast 123. Also, as like DC alluded to about the Al Gentry, we'll have some topics to talk about with Al Gentry. Is he losing the team? Is he facing firing? We'll cover and we'll break down that as well. Stats, facts, breakdown. And also in the second segment, we'll preview the Pelicans' up-and-coming matchup Tuesday night against the Washington Wizards. Will that be a win? Another loss to the on the Pelican side of things? We'll get into it and we'll break it down in our customarily fashion. Also, just like with many of our podcasts, this podcast is brought to you by The Posh Lifestyle. That's www.theposhlifestyle, life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E, style.com. Suppliers of all organic supplements and also organic toothpaste, shampoos, deodorants, and on so forth and so on. They also have music. They have a lot of great items there, self-protection devices like cell phone stun guns, healing magnetics, healing crystals, all kind of great things at this website. So by all means, go to www.theposhlifestyle.com and do your Christmas shopping. And when you put the Sports Coma in the coupon section, you get 10% off for the holidays. So go there to theposhlifestyle.com. They also offer free shipping on some of the products on their website. And their motto is get your mind and body right at the Posh Lifestyle. Now, coming to the show, Pelicans lose 117 to 111 to the Denver Nuggets. Now, DC, bringing you in here, brother. This is one of those games, man, where we talked about it before. I think we previewed this game. Matter of fact, I know we did. I picked that the Pelicans will win this game. I gave the Pelicans the bit. You know what? No, I didn't. I think I chose that they was going to lose this game.
No. You said they was going to win. I said they was going to lose.
Okay, all right. See what happens when I give them the benefit of the doubt?
I told you, I ain't getting them no benefit of the doubt. I'm going to pick them to win the first game, and the next game after they win, I'm picking them to lose until they show me different.
But you know what? That is actually a brilliant a way to look at it, because truth be told, that is exactly how the team is. They play that way all the time. They come into these games. One game, they'll get beat by the Sacramento Kings, a team that they should never lose to in a million lifetimes, especially when you got your full bevy of stars on display and you lose to this team in overtime. But they also come back and then win the next game and then lose against a Denver team that they should be able to beat with all of their stars. It's crazy. They lose in overtime 117 to 111. They allowed the Denver Nuggets to kind of well, actually, they had another one of those terrible fourth quarter. Yes, that fourth quarter management, DC. They lost by 10 points in the fourth. They lost 28-18. That gave Denver an opportunity to tie it up, and then Denver beat them 13-7 in overtime, take the game from them. Pelicans didn't put together a full game this one. They shot 47% from the field. They're blowing the doors off when it come down to shooting. But as we keep saying, it's not the shooting that is the problem.
Nothing's wrong with the offense.
Exactly. Well, the turnovers is a problem. I have to say the turnovers because they're turning the ball over at a record rate here because they had 20 turnovers in the game against Denver, and 20 of the turnovers that they had was converted to 32 points. So you give up 20 turnovers and you give 32 points to the Denver Nugget team, who outscored you in the paint 54-46, which is supposed to be your forte. And then the team was. Denver actually, despite the fact that the Pelicans, shot 71%, which is basically they both had 71% from the free throw line, 10 of 14, but they also shot 1 3-pointer more than what Denver had, which was 15 of 34 for the Pelicans, 16 of 36. So it didn't matter the 3-point shooting in that regard. Now, they did score 43 to 91 in terms of the field goals. They 43 of 91 field goals for the Pelicans versus 46 out of 100. So the Nuggets had at least 9 more opportunities attempt-wise to get 3 more baskets from that perspective. But giving up 32 points off of turnovers, you could circle a map and say, well, listen, I know exactly why we lost this game. What is your take on that? What happened in this game? That's another thing we go right into. The next question is, what happened? How did we lose this game?
Well, I'm gonna tie it in like what I said in my little comment, which was talking about would be anger management, man. We lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game.
That is maddening to me, man.
When we lose, we get upset about losing. We come out, we play like gangbusters.
It lasts one game.
It lasts one game, and that's because we're satisfied. Once we come out and we like, look, see, we can play on the level with the Rockets and all these put all these points up and do all these wonderful things, have everybody oohing and eyeing over us. And then we come out in the next game and we keep it up for a half. And then the third or fourth quarter we're not mad no more. We don't have no more fire, which leads to us running out of energy. You know what I'm saying? We start to get frustrated because we're not getting those same shots we were getting the first half. They're not falling because we don't have the same juice, the same level of intensity. Same level of focus, and they go on to lose, man. And it's a gentrification of the locker room.
This is the part about it. Where I look and I was looking at statistics as the Pelicans. What really is going on here with the Pelicans outside of the fact that it's a several ways that we can come at the issues that the Pelicans have pretty much done to themselves. If you look at some of the stats that we just looked at, then you look at the box scores, you had 3 guys out of the entire team, and they only went 8 deep for this game. They were 8 deep. They didn't play Diallo once again. They didn't. I
haven't seen Diallo play in about 10 games.
It's amazing because why have a guy
energy
on the
guy
team
too.
That he's an energy rebound guy. He's not perfect, but he's not going to get good unless you give him minutes to play.
He's going to give you effort.
He sits there.
Every time
he's going to give you effort, true. But the reality of the situation, if you have Sheik Diallo and Amir Asik both healthy, those guys should be played to give Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins opportunities to rest. Let's look at the minutes here, DC. Anthony Davis had 44 minutes, played 44 minutes. Of course, we know they went into overtime. But AD played 44 minutes of this game. He was 12 of 22. Now, remember, he still have that groin injury that he's dealing with. But he played 44 minutes, was 12 of 22, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, and he put in 28 points. Now, he was second led the team in scoring behind DeMarcus Cousins, who played 11 minutes less than what Anthony Davis played. He played 33 minutes, was 9 of 17. He scored 29 points, had 4 rebounds, but he had 9 turnovers. 9 turnovers. Once again, DeMarcus Cousins does not need to be possessing that ball as much as a guy like Rondo or Jameer Nelson, perhaps. The other guy that I'm very critical on, DC knows this too, and me and him get into it every now and again all about this guy is Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has stepped up, and I have to lay back my criticisms because I only criticize if warranted. If I see that the player's not living up to their potential or to the contract, I can't put this on Drew Holiday. Now, I was very upset and called DC when I watched this game and seeing Drew Holiday came down and with the final shot in the regular time minutes, in the fourth quarter, Holiday had the ball in his hands, tried to shake the defender, couldn't shake the defender, took a step back and did a fake and then jump off the fake to try to take a shot. And of course it went short. But I just felt like he was the wrong person at the time to have the ball. But he finished with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in the game. So I'm not upset with Drew Holiday.
He had the ball, though.
That is obviously the fault of L gentrification. So you're right on that.
Play, you know what I'm thinking? And I'm not a basketball coach. I'm thinking you put Anthony Davis or DeMarcus Cousins on the block, give Drew Holiday the ball, and you find a way somehow to get the ball to one of those guys within 8 to 10 feet of the rim or closer if you can get there, and have them take an attempt there. The odds of them getting fouled are a lot higher. It's a better percentage shot. The odds of it going in are higher. And you have it in the hands of one or your second best player on your team, not the third.
Well, let's hear what Al Gentry got to say about this and see what he thinks about the loss to the Denver Nuggets. Here's Al Gentry.
We didn't execute down the stretch. We didn't play hard enough down the stretch. And you know, they made the plays and we didn't. I mean, it's that simple. I think we got to do a much better job of you know, when we have in leads, not deviating from what we were doing to get where I thought we had our biggest struggles is that, you know, we played great moving the basketball, having everybody touch it and doing a lot of good things, and then we just stopped doing it.
When did that start to stop?
Oh, I just thought I thought in the second quarter we went a little bit away from what we were trying to do, and you know, we don't want to walk the ball up the court. We want to have good ball movement. That's why we're, you know, second in the league in assists, you know, because we do have good ball movement, and I thought we got away from that.
Alvin, you guys had a chance to win at the end of regulation. Can you walk us through that last possession on the offensive end?
Well, we gave the ball to Drew. Drew's been really good at getting the ball to the basket. He started late. You know, he should have started a little earlier. I think he was worried about us, you know, definitely getting the last shot. But we wanted him to drive and, you know, maybe perhaps somebody would help and we find an open shooter. Well, we settled for a jumper, so.
Points off turnover for them, Coach. Was that as much a factor as?
Yeah, it is, and you know, that's been our Achilles heel the whole season, is that we have to learn to protect the ball, and we have way too many live turnovers, and you know, there's just no way of defending the live turnovers.
Anthony stayed in the game after rolling his ankle, but is there a concern moving forward?
I don't know that until we talk to the doctor. Seemed to be fine, but we'll see. We didn't execute.
That's Coach Al Gentry, man. And if I must say so, DC, you look at this interview and you look at Al Gentry's body language and his mannerisms. He looks like, he looks like a guy that's facing a cannon or a firing squad. I mean, it's like he's feeling like it's the heat. You can see that the heat of the skillet that he's standing in is really starting to ratchet itself up with a couple weeks left before the new year turns over and 2018 comes, and then we start looking at this team exactly where they are. You have 30-something games that you don't play. This team is 15-15. That is exactly 30 games that they have played, and enough games to see Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Rajon Rondo, Drew Holiday, and the cast play together. It's very weird. He went had an 8-player rotation against Denver, who's a team that's an athletic wing team, an athletic guard team. Jokic played in this game. He had 13 points, 11 rebounds. He wasn't much of a factor. He did help with Felicity. Right. 19 for Trey Lyles off the bench. 21 for Gary Harris, who I called the Pelican killer. Gary Harris is the Pelican killer. 43 points, 9 of 16 shooting. He had 21 points to lead the Nuggets. 15 from Jamal Murray, the Pelican killer. 15 points in his matchup. And, of course, another guy, Will Barton, who also had 19 points off of 32 minutes played real well. So we about to go into our first break, but when we come back on the other side of the break, we'll have DC to chime in on what he thought about Coach Al Gentry's interview. We'll also talk about Al Gentry moving forward. Is Al Gentry losing the team? Is he losing the team? Is the team listening to him? That's a factor. Could he be being firing soon? We'll talk about that, and also previewing of the Washington Wizards matchup with the Pelicans on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. Stay with us.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Sports Coma, Pelican Postgame Show on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. We're still talking about the Pelicans' ridiculous overtime loss to the Denver Nuggets, 117-111. And we basically broke down a lot of stuff dealing with this side of the same. We're going to let DC comment on what was said during Al Gentry's interview, which he just looked like, I don't know, 30 games into the season right now.
I thought he was interviewing one of the Pelicans players. He said, he had the ball, and I thought one of the people were going to cut. And it just doesn't sound like commentary from a coach. When I think of a coach, I think of someone who's drawing up and architecting the play, that they want to be on the court. Like, Davis was supposed to cut, and he got picked. He couldn't make his cut. Something like that. They explain what happened. But you thought one of the players were going to do this and that. Did you not tell them what they were supposed to do?
He probably did, but they didn't listen. That seems to be the trend. That's even worse. Well, I mean, that seems to be the trend. It's almost similar as like he would tell a player, "Listen, you got a minute restriction." Then the guy plays over the minute restriction. So when it's time for him to check out, he don't. Or he'll tell a player to go in the game, and then the guy will tell him, no, let that man stand there because they got a rhythm. Then he'll agree to it. That type of stuff. Or how about playing eight deep rotations? I mean, 8 deep lineups, DC. How about that?
I actually like to hear that from a player, and you understand that they're not worried about, the scoring and all that. They're trying to win, and that's good. So I like to hear that commentary. But the minute restriction one is I don't know, it's a head scratcher.
I mean, he's not helping himself in the scenario because Anthony Davis is faced with the groin injury. Played 44 minutes last night. He played more minutes than anybody. Even Drew Holiday had 40.
It's a 4-day rest after that, so I'm guessing that's why they let that slide.
Listen,
but I don't can that either.
Well, let's look at this. Let's break down Coach Al Gentry. Now, of course, this is 30 games, and you had a good bite sample size of what the Pelicans are after 30 games. I mean, that's a quarter of the season. So let's look at that. Al Gentry, the question is Al Gentry losing his team? Is he facing firing soon? Is 500 ball playing? He lost 100 games in the first 2 years since he's been here. This is the first time in the history of him as a Pelican coach in 3 years that he's actually had a team over 500 at any point in the 3 years. Problem is we can't seem to stay away from 500. Now you're on a 4-game road trip and you lost the first one to Denver. You have to go to Washington to play the Wizards, which I definitely say that's a loss. And then you have matchups against both Florida teams, Orlando and Miami, in back-to-back scenarios. Now they might steal a win against Orlando or against Miami. And I anticipate a 1-3 road stand before they come home against some pretty bad teams in New Jersey and a few other guys. So talk to me. What do you feel? Now you write for the Pelicans Eye View. What is your feeling or your information is telling you about Al Gentry? Is he losing the team? And is these mannerisms that I'm seeing a result of him feeling the heat from the skillet?
I wouldn't necessarily say he's losing the team. I would say he never really had it. I think this is basically what's been going on since he's been here. I don't think this is any different. I mean, you like to use your word, a Midland team. Were we not a Midland team last year?
Oh, you were not. No, you were not a Midland team. You were before Midland team. You were underneath Midland team. You wasn't close to Midland.
About what? 4 or 5 games?
No, not by 4 or 5 games. They had a couple. They won 30 games in his first year, 34 in his second year. And the last time I checked, to be a Midland team, you'd have to be 41-41. So they were at least more than 8 or 9 games.
8 games.
That's a lot of games.
But I'm looking at it from once we actually got the talent and people on the court. We got DeMarcus Cousins or whatever. The record for whatever this team was once we got him. It's been the same thing, man. And then that's pretty much the problem. I don't think Al Gentry takes command over those guys the way he should, because they kind of need that. We got a lot of alpha guys on our team, so if you're not willing to step up and be an alpha yourself, they're going to do what they want to do. And that's pretty much what we're seeing, in my opinion. And I think that's always been the case since Al Gentry has been here.
Well, that's absolutely the truth. I think a lot of the stuff that you speak about dealing with Al Gentry, of course, it's still a lot of games to be played to see if they can figure it out. But 30 games in, and we done watched all of them and broke them down, looked all through them. And to be quite honest with you, the end result that I see is a 500 basketball team. Even the stats speak to that as well, about how they can one game play up to a team like the Houston Rockets, who are the top team, one of the top teams in the West, and then play down to the level of the Sacramento Kings, one of the worst teams in the league. That is the definition of Midland. And consistency avoids this team like the plague. Consistency, this team does not know the meaning of the term consistency, and that's the term that Al Gentry uses on 98% of his post press conference games. He comes on there and talks about how he
maybe he should wear it on a shirt so they can see it.
Maybe he should burn it into the side of the building. Maybe he should burn it into the glass of the practice.
You need to go to the extreme at this point.
Yeah, you need to, because the consistency is the thing that's really ultimately killing this team. When we watch this team have just simple breakdowns and non-communication breakdowns on transition defense, You'll see
I
a
think
guy.
that's the frustrating thing, man.
It's
Because
very frustrating. Yes.
it's things that are correctable that they're losing
They just
games
don't
on
do.
they're not difficult. It's very simple, basic things that are just not being done, and it is costing them wins.
Why? Why is it? Do they not care about the defensive end? Is it obviously not for them not to? Maybe they don't like the scheme. I don't like the scheme. That could be it. I don't like the damn scheme. I think the scheme stinks. This guy that they got from Boston that's supposed to be Danny Irvin is supposed to be this defensive guru, hasn't shown jack squat since he's been down here. We'll play a few games where we'll block him out of the gym, but not nearly enough games to be able to build to get up over 500. So it's crazy to me.
Goes back to consistency. They don't do the same thing consistently on defense. They don't know when to trust each other and when to switch. It's a lot of confusion, man.
DeMarcus Cousins is at the top of the food chain when that goes down, DC. I've seen him. He leaves people wide open. He does it. It's just, I'm like, wow.
Wide open three-pointers out of us. You're going to get at least 5 or 6, and that's at least. 5 or 6 wide open corner threes every game I see.
Not to mention they're going to help you out with the turnovers. The Pelicans going to turn over the ball to you and give you 20 points or 25 points off of turnovers every night.
I do notice, and this is a little befuddling to me, when they let the offense get set up and run through Rondo for the most part to set it up, the turnovers decrease dramatically. But once he comes out of the game for large spells, man, they get about 10, 12 turnovers.
Yes. and I imagine and the thing about it is Rondo leaves the floor. Their most competent ball handler is no doubt about it, Rajon Rondo. And second most competent ball handler is Jameer Nelson. He comes in when Rondo leaves. But there are those times when Jameer Nelson and Rondo are on the bench at the same time, and Drew Holiday has the ball, and DeMarcus Cousins has the ball. He had 9 turnovers in this game. DeMarcus Cousins had 9 turnovers in this game. 9 turnovers. You cannot turn the ball. You can't win games, DC, by turning the ball over as much as they do. 20 times a game. I mean, that's terrible. They got some teams in the NBA that only turn the ball over like 10 or 12 times a game. Anything over 15, you're pushing it. You're really pushing it. And they give up 30-something points and turn off of turnovers to the Denver Nuggets that help them win the game. Now, we had this discussion, this debate, whatever you want to call it, prior to the show where we disagree with the pros out there. Now, the experts wrote their articles and talked about how the Pelicans would not even make the playoffs. We were saying, well, what are you talking about? What teams are you placing in the playoffs beyond the Pelicans? They named teams like the Los Angeles Clippers. We said you're crazy. And, of course, we were proven right on that. And then they talked about Utah. They talked about Denver. They talked about the Lakers. And I'm like, how do you have DeMarcus Cousins, the best center in the league, Anthony Davis, the best power forward in the league, Drew Holiday, a top 10 or top 5 guard, depending on if he's defensive, offense. Offense, you're looking at a top 10, maybe 15 guard. Defense, top 10. And you got those. Could be. I give you that. But top 5, and those type of players and a decent staff like Rajon Rondo, Jameer Nelson, those guys around. And you still say that they're not better than the Clippers. They're not better than Utah. They're not better than Minnesota. Well,
because we got the 30
they're not better than Denver. And guess what? And there you go. That's the common link. If people don't have confidence in the coach, and I think that's why it's where it is. But, of course, the Pelicans play again against the Wizards coming up Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Central. It'll be playing the Washington Wizards.
They're gonna lose?
That is going to be a loss, no doubt about it.
And I'm saying it's going to be a win.
You're going to stick to that, huh? Okay, let me give you some statistics. Maybe I'll sway your decision based on the statistics. Here we go. The Washington Wizards stand right now in the Southeast Division. Now, of course, you know the Southeast Division. They have Miami, Orlando, Charlotte, and Atlanta. Right now, those teams are not really hitting on much right now. Washington is 16-14 in the Southeast Division. Miami is 15-14, winners of 2 in a row. Now, of course, the Pelicans have to play Washington, Miami, and then they play Orlando as well in a back-to-back with Miami. Orlando started off hot, really hot, but they have cooled off drastically. They are now 11-20 Losers of 5 in a row. Then you got Charlotte falling through the floor. They're 10-19, losers of 3 in a row. And then Atlanta, losers of 4 in a row at 6-23 in the cellar of the Southeast Conference, the division. So Washington is the top team in that very weak division. 16-14. The Pelicans sit 15-15 in the center of the Southwest Division, where Houston is the dominant team, winners of 13 in a row, 24-4. San Antonio is 20-10. They just got Kawhi Leonard back, so they're gonna gain some ground on the Pelicans.
Why, my man?
They're gonna gain some ground. And then you got the Pelicans that sit in the center of the Southwest Division at 15-15, and they only there because Memphis stink. They're 9-21, and Dallas sucks, and they're 8-22. So they kind of pinned right in that middling area of that schedule, of that standing. If we look at what they're dealing with, the Washington Wizards statistically average 105 a game, give up 103 a game. They're 45.5% field goal rise. They rebound about 43 a game, 22 assists a game, 4.5 blocks a game, 8 steals a game, and they're 5-5 the last 10. So they playing 500 ball too. The only difference is I think they're a better 500 team than the Pelicans. Pelicans are winning.
I think they're playing a lot easier conference.
That's true. That's true too. You got to get that into it. But you got 2 bigs that's top bigs, so that's no excuse. What you're averaging 111 a game, the Pelicans, and giving up 111 a game. We do this every week. We talk about the same thing. Midland, 49% shooting. They're shooting 49%, almost 50% from the field. This on the season. This not a game number. This is a season number. They're shooting 49% from the field for the season. And they got 43 rebounds a game flat, averaging 27 assists a game. That's terrific. 5 blocks a game, 7.5 steals a game, and they are 4-6 the last 10 games with 49% shooting from the field. So that's telling me, and like DC astutely said earlier in the segment, is that the problem with the team is not on the offensive end, where besides the turnovers, the obvious stat is the turnovers. But they're losing these games on the defensive end. They're getting beat in the paint. They're getting out rebound. DC, who wins this game? You said that you'll pick the New Orleans Pelicans to win. Could you please elaborate and give me a score?
I say the New Orleans Pelicans win, say 112, 108. The reason I see them winning because I'm gonna look at what Washington does right, and then I'm gonna look at what the Pelicans do right. Washington has one of the best backcourts in the league. Well, the Pelicans have one of the best 2 big men in the league. And when I look at the Washington team, I don't see them matching up with us. Now, they can hit 3-pointers, but we hitting them too. The only thing that we have to worry about is the turnovers. If we can stop the turnovers and basically slow down those open shots that John Wall is going to create for his shooters, we win this game. But if for some reason we find a way to shoot ourselves in the foot and give people wide open corner threes and stuff like that, there's no way we can win against the Washington team like that, because John Wall is going to penetrate. He's going to get his fair share of shots, and he's going to create opportunities for his shooters. And they got a team full of them.
It's amazing to me. Well, I hear what you're saying. I can't disagree with your logic of win one, lose one. That's pretty much how they've been going. And this win, and the funny part about it is this: if they can beat a quality team, because we know when the season comes down on the east side of things, Washington's going to be in the mix, no doubt about it. Washington is they're one of the top 5 best teams in the East. They're going to be in the mix for the playoffs in the East. If they can beat a quality team like Washington, who's kind of struggling to find their way as well. If they can beat this team, and of course they just lost to the Cavaliers 106-99 the other day, so they play close to LeBron, but he get a triple double against them in the win and leads them past them by a few points. But the way I see this game is, they both mirror images of each other. Though Washington, I believe, is a better coach team. for what the talent they use. 16-14. If they beat this team, they can very well wield off at least a 3-game losing streak because the teams that they're playing are all struggling. Washington might have.
You said that last time, man. You said they would have a 4-game losing streak.
No, I'm saying winning streak. I said winning streak.
Okay. You said losing streak. But
well, I'm usually saying losing streak, and I might have been off a game or two here and there. But, they win the one you don't think they're going to win. And this is one of the games where I'm thinking myself, I'm going to rethink myself with this game. And I will say that they're going to win this game, even though it's in Washington. And
what brought about you change your heart?
Because if I can see if they can turn the season around and aim it in the right direction with a win over the Wizards, because they'll face two struggling teams in Orlando and Miami. Now, Miami is on a 2-game winning streak. It's going to be a more I think Miami will give them a more of a challenge than Washington or Orlando will. That's just my take. I think Miami is a team that plays fast. They're a tough, gritty defensive rebounding team. They're well coached, and that's the issue with me. I just think that if the Pelicans want to be taken seriously, they got to beat these teams like Washington and Miami and Orlando. These East teams, you got to pile up the wins against these East teams. And that's a way how you stay relevant in the West.
Two superstars on Miami or Orlando, for that matter.
That's true.
They're
no
in the
superstars.
making, but they don't have them yet.
Right. Hassan Whiteside. Yeah, Whiteside is a good player, but he's not a top 3 big in the game.
Dragic is a good player. He's a career good player.
Exactly. So I'm going to choose. I know DC and fans out there, I'm going to choose the Pelicans to beat the Wizards. I'm going to go and put down on it because I think, I'm going to agree with you on this because at first I said they were going to lose, but I changed my pick. They should win this game. After losing that game to Denver, they played messed up. They should get it, and I think they will be able to put together a streak here. I really do think so.
It's a telling sign that we didn't get any Pelican player interviews. That's a real telling sign that they're going to come out this game, even if Andy Davis doesn't play. They're going to come out this game on fire, man. I like the way this team plays angry. I talked about that anger management earlier. They need to figure out something to keep them there.
Well, that's going to do it for the show. Appreciate y'all for listening. Please donate to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Support our sponsors at www.thepashlifestyle.com and subscribe and like our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, YouTube pages. Thank you very much.
Peace. Or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out thepashlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.